All right, looks like we're live now. Just a slight lag on what's on my screen here, but welcome. Sorry, trying to get back into the habit of doing some of this behind the scenes to a couple different places. So I use a website called Restream.io to send it to both Facebook. It's actually been a long time since I've done this. Last week when I tried to do this recording, I pretty much just went straight to Facebook and just did Facebook Live there because it was too much. It was taking me too long to get set up. And I'm an IT. You think I'll be able to figure this out a little much faster. So actually, let me go ahead and minimize this, so that I know that's actually going through. Although it looks like it may be a bit choppy. So we'll keep an eye on that to see how choppy it gets. Hopefully not too choppy. Let me turn this off so it's not too bright. But welcome to my behind-the-scenes recording of one of my short stories. Before, I was doing this mainly for... and yes, I'm in pajamas. I get comfortable when I read. I was thinking of maybe just like setting up a set like downstairs to do my reading. I might still do that like I do with my show, but I actually like my dad's desk from the 1970s, a little roll down desk. Ugh, I don't think it rolls down anymore very easily, at least. But I don't roll it down and up down very much, but I need to get this thing cleaned up and fixed. But yeah, so I do it nice and comfortable. Got my drink here, to make the recording a little bit more fun. But I normally did this on for my patrons on Patreon, but I didn't have any patrons. So even though I was only doing like $1 a month, most people just don't have Patreon accounts. So I decided to go ahead and just start doing this as a different playlist on my Facebook and on YouTube, so that I can just behind the scenes I've been doing for a while. I enjoy doing them, and essentially you get to see what kind of goes into recording the podcast, how I pick my voices, talk a little about the story, and things like that. Let me minimize this a little bit. And as you can see here, I have the story, and I also have my recordings over here, which it looks like I still have my Mannequin Nights over there, so I need to go to my sound recordings. I need to move these so they're out of the way. And move these back up to short stories. Mannequin Nights. That's the recording I did last time. Alphabetical order. You think I'll be able to easily find that? There we go. Alright, so that way the recording is clean. So let me just yeah. There we go. Now it's empty. So I'm going to do my intro. And then I'll come back and pick up with the reading. So let's do the intro and then move on. All right, and we're back. All right. See, I need to add some sound. I need to add some music. I get that. Maybe I'll do that this weekend. I have a lot of changes I need to make to my short stories. The post credits where I talk, where to go to watch them. So I need to update some of that because now I have a book out. Short Stories from the Mind of a Madman. Volume 1 is out, which is essentially the first 25 short stories I wrote. Volume 2 was supposed to come out November 15th, but I didn't really get any pre-orders, so I didn't push it. I do need to finish that, so hopefully by the end of January, Volume 2 will be coming out. And with the stories I'm writing now, will be in Volume 3, hopefully coming out in the spring. So if I can pump out as many stories as I want to pump out. So normally what would happen behind the scenes is I would I have my short story here, and then I would read a page, edit it, and then I go back and record that page. These, because I wanted to get the short stories out faster, I actually already edited these, so I kind of read them out loud and already did that part. So right now I'm just going to be doing the recording part. But some of the other ones I'll be doing that I wrote, the werewolf one, Under the Full Moon, and Neighborhood of the Young, and then I just wrote one yesterday, Transient Killer. So hopefully all three of those, and I've already done those three I need to record. So those three I'll probably do to where I'll do the live stream like I am now, and I'll do the editing, and then I'll do the recording afterwards. But for right now, we're just doing this. Now, obviously, since I'm live streaming on Facebook and on YouTube, if you're watching this right now live, you can leave comments. But unfortunately, I don't have anything up to see the comments, so I won't be seeing the comments until after the show. I do plan eventually to have a screen up over here with Facebook up, or even bring it up on my phone so I can kind of check comments. But I have to be careful with that because last time I did it on my show where I was trying to upload the live stream but also download from Facebook and keep up on chats, it just made the took up a lot of bandwidth and made everything choppy. So hopefully everything's smooth right now. I'll find out when I go back and watch. Unfortunately, the first few videos tend to be a little bit crazy because I'm just kind of figuring it all out. It's been a long time since I've done my live stream show. It's been a long time since I've done this behind the scene. I did one like last week, but before that it was like October that I did. I don't even know if I did a live stream then. It might have been back earlier than that. So it's been a while. And in case you're wondering, I am drinking honey Jack Daniels. It's my drink of choice. I like regular Jack, Gentleman's Jack, and regular Tennessee whiskey, but the honey whiskey is just super sweet and good. So just something to kind of wet the lips a little bit. So I do the voices on these. Since I wrote the story months ago, I don't remember how many characters I have. So it's going to be a little hard when I do the voices as far as deciding what accent to do what. So I think there's the story. There's two gentlemen. And actually, this is kind of, all right. So I'll tell you a little bit behind the scenes on this story. And I also do it on my live stream show, which when I get to the story, will probably be in 2026 or something like that at the rate we're going. But I came up with this short story because I was hit up on Reddit by some guys in India that were like going to school for short, making movies. They wanted to go on movies and stuff like that, and so they wanted to use one of my short stories. I can't remember which one they originally asked for to see if they can make a small short film for a school project. I was like, oh sure, yeah, go ahead. And then they came back, asked, saying they didn't really have the money for the special effects and stuff like that, and asked if I could, maybe write a story that was easier for them to do. And I was like, yeah, sure, I can do that. And then shortly after they asked, well, is there any way you can do kind of like a mob story? So I wrote the story keeping in mind that they were going to make a short film out of this. I don't know if they ever did, but so this one I basically limited to like 2 locations. No, gun fights or in the street and stuff like that. They require a lot of special effects and a lot of, money. This is just 2 locations they can just film in somebody's house. But they even came back and like, I don't know if we can have access to a mansion. So I pretty much ignored the last conversation and almost wrote back saying, look, if you guys can't do 2 living rooms to make a short film for school, then you're just not serious about filmmaking, because I figure it out. if I have a vision, if I want to do something, I figure a way to make it work. I don't care if I have to record right here in my office and just set up backdrops. I'll find a way to or go shoot in a forest somewhere. I'll find a way to make it work. So if you're having trouble with just 2 living room locations, I don't know what to do for you. But you're not going to make it in movies if you can't get creative on sets and how to make a movie on a budget. So anyway, so that's how this one came along. And this one was actually written specifically for somebody who asked for a gangster one. It's my first gangster story I've ever written. I think I did a pretty good job. I don't know how I'll do on the accents. I'm going to try to tap into my inner Godfather here, so we'll see how that goes. But anyway, so let's go ahead. Like I said, I'm going to go right to the recording. What I'll do is there's 2 guys that essentially rob from a mansion, and then they're caught and they're expected to make up for that. So let's see how it goes. And normally I've read the story and you go back to the second page, so it's a little bit easier. So this one will be a little bit different. I make mistakes. Normally what I do is if I make a mistake, I'll go back to the beginning of the sentence, or the last time I take a pause, I get a comma or something, and then re-record. And then I just keep going, because I do it in post. When I edit, I actually cut out all the parts I mess out. So I don't ever get this on the first take. So don't think when you listen to my podcast, those are like first takes and everything goes smoothly. I really go through each page, and then it takes me about an hour to edit a 10-minute story. So, yeah. So let's go ahead and get into, what is it? For the Dawn, this one's called. All right. All right, Vincent, Rico started. Pull over here. Vincent did as he was told. This looks like a good place to rob, Rico said, pointing to the mansion across the street. We'll hit this place real quick and get out of town before anyone notices. Vincent nodded. Rico was the brains, and what he says goes. This was the 3rd city they were passing through on their way to California, the land of milk and honey. Their goal was to make it out Their goal was to make out. Their goal was to make out with a few big heists, so when they arrived at Cali, they would be able to throw their weight around. Let's case the place real quick, and when we're sure it's empty, we'll hit it, Rico explained. They got out of the car and split up, each checking out both sides of the mansion, looking for any signs of movement in the way in. What'd you find? Rico asked, once they met in the back of the place. I didn't see anyone inside, I didn't see anyone inside, and it looks like a library with a good floor window we could easily get into, Vincent explained. Perfect, Rico said. I didn't see no one in there either. Let's get our tools and rob this joint. Each one carried a large duffel bag. Their tools were minimal, but the bags were mainly used for loading any stolen jewelry. Their tools were minimal, but the bags were mainly used for loading any stolen jewelry and china they could fence later. Once they arrived at a window, Vincent pulled out a crowbar and pried it open. Seeing that there was no one in sight, they both climbed through the window and started looking around. For anything that looked expensive, which wasn't that hard to find. Being the skilled thieves that they were, they moved silently through each room, grabbing what they could until their bags were full. Satisfied that they had more than enough. Man, this was going to hurt. Satisfied that they had more than enough to qualify a big score, they met back in the library to make their escape. What's the hurry? Came a gruff voice behind them as they went climbing out. What's your hurry? Came a gruff voice behind them as they were climbing out the back of the window. The coward parts of them wanted to make a run for it, but the tough wise guys part wanted them to stay, confront the man who interrupted them, and take whatever he had on him. They turned to face the man dumb enough to try to stop them, when they were instead facing a large man smoking a cigar. While that was intimidating enough, he was flanked by two guerrillas of men, each holding a machine gun at them. With a wave of the machine guns, Vincent and Rico were directed to the center of the room. Have a seat, boys, the large man said. As two more men appeared behind them. Have a seat, boys, the large man said as two more men appeared behind them carrying chairs for them to sit in. Let's talk. All right. And even though I've already got this whole thing kind of edited, I still wanted to go ahead and... Oh, come on, get out of the way. Still do one page at a time. Makes things a lot easier. And real quick, let me just check to see what's on here. Okay. Just want to make sure. I did one of my shows and pretty much went, I think, almost a quarter or 3/4 of the show with no sound. I didn't realize my microphone wasn't working, and people were messaging me. Luckily, I get the messages on my watch or on my phone. So, but yeah, it was a while before I realized that essentially I was just talking in silence with my guest, and I think we ended up starting the whole show over and just doing it again. That's one of the nice things about only having one or two people that watch your show is that you can, start over and nobody really notices. Like now, I don't even know who's watching, if anybody's watching. A little key tip too. So I don't use my mouse when I'm recording because the clicking gets picked up by the microphone. So fortunately I have a touch screen, and I also try not to move as much as I possibly can when I'm recording, so that because it picks up all the sound. So if I'm like that while I'm trying to record, it picks all that up. So I usually try to find my location, and I even turn off my heat so that the fans don't go off. Now unfortunately I have the fans from the computer kind of going, but that's kind of nothing I can do about that. And also I kind of take that out in post, so I'm able to get rid of a lot of that sound. All right, so let's go down to page 2. Surprisingly, it's a little bit easier for me to read because for some reason when I read through it and I go back to read it, actually it's very difficult for me. But when I read it for the first time, it's almost like reading a story. It's any other story. It's pretty easy to read as you go. But all right, let's go into it. The large man sat down behind a large desk facing Vincent and Rico. He was still flanked by the two men aiming their machine guns at the two thieves. Do you know who I am? The large man asked. Vincent decided to let Rico do the talking. No, sir, Rico answered, with a tremulous voice. We're not from around here. We're just passing through. The large man studied them and said, My name is Mario. I'm the Don of this city. Do you know what a Don is? Yes, sir, Rico said. I've known a few. Yes, sir, Rico said. I've known a few, but have never had the pleasure to meet one. Rico hoped his over politeness would buy them some points with the large Don. It did. With a slight smile, Mario said, You broke it into my home and have tried to steal from me. What do you think I should do with you? Neither of the thieves had any ideas what the Neither of the thieves had any idea how they should answer. Neither of the thieves had any idea how they should answer. Let us go, Vincent answered, causing an immediate round of laughter from everyone in the room, except Rico. The balls on this guy, Mari said. I like that. Vincent and Rico were about to relax when the smile left the Don's face, and was replaced with a very menacing look. I'm afraid I can't do that, boys, he said with a growl. The thieves both gulped. Then the Don sat back relaxed. I tell you what, he started. You do something for me, and not only will I let you live, but I'll let you keep whatever's in the bags, except, of course, anything that is sentimental to me. How does that sound? Knowing there were no other options, both of them quickly nodded. Very wise choice, Mario said with a smile. Vincent and Rico watched as Mario wrote something on a piece of paper and handed it to one of his thugs to give them. On the piece of paper is an address, Mario started. I want you to go there and steal a ring. It's kept in a safe in one of the bedrooms. I don't care if you bring the whole safe as long as the ring is in it. I also don't care who you have to kill to get it. The only rule is that it can't lead back to me. You try to accuse me, I'll deny it and make sure you end up dead. Do you understand? They both nodded their understanding. Fortunately for them, they knew how to crack safes. Alright, page 2 down. And like I said, normally it doesn't go like this. Normally I'm editing at the same time. But like I said, since I already... What's the volume like on this one? Oh, it's already turned down. Okay, just want to make sure. Alright. Moving on up to the side. Alright, page 2 down. There's 6 pages, so we got a while to go. So buckle up. Alright, I'm going to keep going on this one. Good, Mario said. We'll keep your bags here for safekeeping, and boys, don't try to leave town. My guys will be watching the whole time. If you try to leave, they'll gun you down. Capiche? They nodded again. The Don waved his arm and said, Good. Now get out of here and don't come back without that ring. The thieves didn't need to be asked twice. They quickly rose and walked out of the front door. Once they were in the car, Vincent said, What the hell? What have we gotten ourselves into? Trying to remain calm, Rico said, Calm down. We have no choice. Trying to remain calm, Rico said, Calm down. We have no choice. So let's go to the address, find the ring, give it to the Don, and then get the hell out of here. Vincent nodded his understanding, and they drove off to the address they were given. Vincent nodded his understanding, and they drove off to the address they were given. When they arrived, they found themselves looking at another beautiful mansion, but instead of raising their spirits, they felt sure they were breaking into another Don's house. Shit, Rico said, but knew they had no choice. He could see the headlights of the car following them pull over and park. Let's just get this done. I don't know why I turned to the Don's voice all of a sudden. Let's just get this done so we can get the hell out of here. Rico said. Grab your gun and let's go. They slid their pistols into the pockets and got out of the car. Now, just like before, Rico started, let's case the place and move in. Vincent nodded and they went their separate ways to find a way in. All the windows were too high, so they decided to jimmy the back door instead. As they moved through the house, it seemed deserted, which relieved them and worried them As they moved to the house, it seemed deserted, which relieved them and worried them at the same time. They cringed as they made their way up the stairs to the creak of each one. When they reached the top floor, they didn't waste their time. With the smaller bedrooms, but focused solely on finding the master bedroom. Before they went into the room, they cautiously looked around to make sure no one was in the bed or bathroom. The master bedroom looked as empty as the rest of the house. It didn't take long for them to find the safe hidden behind a painting. Rico kept watch as Vincent used a stethoscope. Sometimes it's easier to spell the words than it is to say them, and I'm pretty sure spell check helped with this. Rico kept watch while Vincent used a stethoscope. Rico kept watch while Vincent used a stethoscope. Why did I use a stethoscope? Rico kept watch while Vincent used a stethoscope. Maybe I should just do that word by itself. Rico kept watch while Vincent used a stethoscope just to listen. No, got that word right and messed up the rest of it. To listen to the clicks. Used a stethoscope to listen to the clicks inside the turnwheel. Rico kept watch while Vincent used a stethoscope to listen to the clicks inside the turnwheel. Usually, the loud click of the safe unlocking would relieve them, but this one seemed to echo throughout the whole house, causing them to stiffen. After listening and ensuring there were no footsteps approaching, they both let out a sigh and opened. After listening and ensuring that there were no footsteps approaching, they both let out a sigh and opened the door of the safe. All right, that was a little rougher. Not gonna lie. All right, just another sip. Crap. All right. Let's keep this child line moving. Page 4. There it is, Rico said, coming up behind Vincent and pointing to the ring in the center of the safe. As long as we're here, take the cash, too. Not caring about the consequences, they stuffed the cash into their pockets along with the ring. Okay, let's get out of here, Rico said. They froze in place at the top of the stairs when someone unlocked the front door. They backed up around the corner out of sight and strained to listen how many had arrived. The voices of several men could be heard. One of them said, "Shall we grab a drink in the study?" There was no reply, but Vincent and Rico could hear them walk away from the door. After a few seconds, they risked a look to see if the path of the door was clear. It wasn't. Standing on either side of the door stood 2 armed men. Vincent and Rico looked at each other in confusion. It was unusual for the men to stand guard inside the door. It was as if they were trying to keep someone in rather than keep people out. It was as if they were trying to keep someone in. It was as if they were trying to keep someone in rather than keep people out. The reason didn't matter to the thieves. They knew they had to get out of there quick, so they went to the first bedroom and walked to the window. It had been a while since they had been forced to jump out of a second-story window, but they knew they would most likely be fine. They were also fortunate that there was a pile of raked leaves below them. The fall would still hurt, but not as bad. They heard laughter coming from downstairs. They decided they would immediately jump when they heard another round of laughter to hide. They decided they would immediately jump when they heard another round of laughter to hide the sound of the fall. Moments later, another round of laughter erupted and they jumped out the window. As quietly as they could, they swiped the leaves off themselves and began to move away from and around the house. As quietly as they could, they swiped the leaves off themselves and began to move away from and around the house. Why am I having so much trouble with that? As quietly as they could, they swiped the leaves off themselves and began to move away and around. As quietly as they could, they swiped the leaves off themselves and began to move away from and around the house. They were going to travel a few houses down They were going to travel a few houses down before making a run for. They were going to travel a few houses down before making a run for the car across the street. The street was clear when they appeared out of some dense shrub. The street was clear when they. The street was clear. Oh my God. The street was clear when they appeared out of some dense shrubbery. The street was clear when they appeared out of some dense The street was clear when they appeared out of some dense shrubbery. The street was clear when they appeared out of some dense shrubbery under the sidewalk. Okay, Rico said. Let's get in the car and get out of here. They stealthily made their way up the street and got to the car. They stealthily made their way up the street to the car and got in. Whew, Vincent said, letting outside. That was close. I agree, came a gruff voice from the back seat. They both turned around in surprise and saw one of them. Oh. I agree, came a gruff voice from the back seat. I agree, came a gruff voice from the back seat. Both turned around in surprise and saw one of Mario's thugs sitting back there pointing a pistol at them. Alright, now I usually don't have this much trouble with it, but I think I'm just kind of nervous because I'm like on camera and I haven't done this in a while, and you people are making me nervous. Stop staring at me. God. I feel like I'm in a zoo. This is ridiculous. No, but seriously, it's just been a while, so... And what happens is when I'm reading, I start thinking just random thoughts. And then, I start freezing up and then I mess up mid-sentence. So, alright. Keep this chat line going. So let's go ahead and get to page 5. Almost there. Hold on a second. Air bubble. Air bubble, not a burp. Alright, here we go. We got the ring, Rico pleaded, hoping the thug wouldn't kill him. Good, he replied. Now get out of the car. Skeptically, they complied. The thug ordered them to turn around so he was standing behind them. The thug ordered them to turn around so that he was. The thug ordered them to turn around so that he was standing behind them. Rico felt the thug slip his hand into a pocket, push past the cash until he felt the ring. Rico felt the thug slip his hand into the pocket. Rico felt the thug slip his hand into the pocket. Rico felt the thug slip his hand into the pocket, push past the cash until he felt the ring. Now walk, the thug ordered. Where? Rico asked. Back to the house you just were at. Back to the house you were just at, he said, and gave them a shove with a pistol. Unsure what to do, they walked as directed. When they arrived at the front door, the thug told them to knock on the door, which they did. One of the armed men standing guard inside opened the door and led them to the study where Vincent and Rico saw Don Mario join a cigar with another older man sitting behind a desk. Vincent and Rico were roughly shoved into a couple of chairs facing the desk. See, what did I tell you? Mario started. As soon as I found out what they were about to do, I came directly to you. The thief sat there, unsure what was happening. Frank, check their pockets, Mario ordered. The thug from the car pulled the cash, guns, and the ring from their pockets and placed them on the desk. See, Mario said, gesturing to the pile on the desk. Rico was about to tell the man behind the desk the whole story when everything went black. Before Vincent could scream at seeing his friend shot in the head, he was shot too. Seeing the deed done, Mario stood and said, I hope you remember this. I hope you will remember my assistance in this matter in the future when I ask a favor from you. Of course, the old man said. Mario nodded to his man, letting him know he was ready to leave. After a short but courteous goodbye, Mario and Frank got into the car. Do you have it? Mario asked Frank. Do you have it? Mario asked Frank. Frank pulled out the ring from his pocket and handed it to Mario. It was as if God himself sent those two thieves to get this for us, Mario said. By the time Don Mateo figures out what happened, it'll be too late. As they drove off into the night, Mario couldn't help but try on the ring. It fit perfectly. As they drove off into the night, Mario couldn't help but try on the ring. It fit perfectly. And that is it. Page 6 done. Oh, page 5 and 6, actually. I just realized I read both of them. Well, they were close enough. Page 5, 6. Close enough. All right, now, I do have one more part here, so let me close this. So even though I've done that, I do need to go back over here to short stories. Go over here to YouTube templates. And intro finish. Finish. Because I got to do my intro and my finish. I do have to clean up some on the long part, but the first part, I just need to get rid of this for the dawn. And down here for the dawn. I like to record these at the same time so that it doesn't sound different if I try recording it later on. So now I just got to do the same thing here. So I did on that, did my intro, which is real short. There we go. AntonioGarciaBooks.com presents For the Dawn, written and read by Antonio Garcia. I'm not going to do the become a patron on Patreon for this because I'm not doing that anymore right now. At least for the dawn _ intro. There we go. Oh, there's a 0. There we go. Now for the final part. I hope you enjoy this read of my short story, For the Dawn. Nice little 4-second recording there. That's hardcore. All right. And that is the outro. All right. Well, that is pretty much it. I do have to kind of, I'll do some recording this weekend on the longer parts as far as like, don't forget to buy a book, blah, blah, blah. And then hopefully I get to edit these this weekend. So I'm planning on doing 2 podcasts next week. I plan on doing The Thing in the Car Wash and For the Dawn. That's recorded, so hopefully you get to listen to this Thursday if you're watching live or watching this behind the scenes. And I recorded Mannequin Nights earlier in the week, which was a short story I posted on Monday. And so I do plan on also recording Under the Full Moon, which is a short story that'll be coming out Wednesday. And then also Neighborhood of the Young, which will be coming out on Friday. So I plan to do more recordings. I may do it tonight, so I'm going to take a short break and I may live stream again to do one of the stories, or I may do it tomorrow or Sunday. So thank you for joining me. Again, this is behind the scenes. This is something I enjoy doing. Make sure the stream is still going through and stuff. It looks like it is, so that's good. All right. So again, thank you so much for joining me. I hope to do this more often. I can't really say what time I'll be doing it and dates and times because my schedule, is all over the place. I have a full-time job and I write when I can and record when I can, edit when I can. So it's very difficult to pick specific times I'll be doing that. But I'll try to at least, advertise a little bit more. As I get caught up, I'll make it more consistent. Right now, I'm so far behind, about 120 stories behind. So my goal is to write like 5 stories a week, publish 2 podcasts until I get caught up. So I'll probably have quite a few short stories from the Madman volumes coming out because I should be up to like volume 10 or 11 at this point. And instead of just starting over and doing 1 short story a week like I originally started, I want to make up all that lost time. So I'm really trying to pump out as many stories as I can. So I could use help if you have any ideas for short stories. I get my ideas anywhere I can, from a song, from a Reddit short story, from a podcast short story. I listen to different short stories, something that just kind of sparks my mind, a story, and then I write it down. So any help as far as any ideas you may have for short stories would be greatly appreciated. And no, I won't share credit. Just kidding. I won't, but just kidding. Anyways, again, thank you so much for joining me for this behind the scenes. And if I do it again, I hope that you will join me on the next one. And hopefully I'll get it set up to where I can start seeing some comments and you guys can start asking questions and get a little more interactive as time goes. Hopefully I get my short stories from the Mind of Madman live stream show back up where I have guests come on, different artists and writers and musicians and and get back into doing that. Looking forward to a pretty good 2021. So hopefully that will come around. So again, don't forget, that's the 10th Doctor from Doctor Who. So got to give him some a shout out. So thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. So have a great night.